Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and I have a rather interesting video for you guys today. I was out in my car first, just recording some B-roll for an upcoming video, when I had a couple of rather interesting games. I got the first game for you today, and tomorrow you will have the other game. But before we get into the battle too much, I want to announce this. I actually set up a Discord server. A couple of you have joined already. I know a couple people asked for me to set up a Discord server for the channel, so I went ahead and I did. And there won't be too much posted on it this week because I'm just waiting for people to come in and such. But next week we'll start announcing, stuff like, when I'm going to be streaming. Because I usually upload a video about an hour before the stream starts here. I will also be announcing it in the Discord, and if you guys have any questions for me about either YouTube or a ship or something, and either you don't want to comment about it on YouTube for whatever reason, if you want to ask me about it in the Discord, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions there. And a general place for us to hang out. I'm in it, Italia's in it, Savage is in it, so you can talk to all three of us. And of course, anyone can come into it. It's an open server. Just follow the link in the description below. Alright, so the match you got here. I'm in my tier 10 curve first. For those of you who don't know, I run a secondary build on her. I have all the skills for secondaries except for manual fire, because I was going to go for manual fire, but I decided to, instead I'm going for IFHE, and I got one last skill point to get IFHE on the curve first. And then, of course, that will put the damage of the secondaries through the roof. So, as usual on Sleeping Giant, the team has started to kind of go toward D. As you can tell, we're kind of all... you can tell from the bottom of the right-hand corner looking at the mini-map, most of us are going to D, some's heading over to A. And we got one destroyer just kind of chugging along right into B. And in the chat, I'm just talking about the Harugamo, everyone's favorite, absolute favorite HE spamming destroyer. Us battleships just love the Harugamo. If you can't tell by the sarcasm in my voice, I hate the Harugamo right now. I think it's a little much in terms of HE spam, but Wargaming is going to do what Wargaming is going to do, and we just have to deal with it. So anyway, destroyer spotted. I take a couple pot shots at it with curve first. He's just outside my secondary range. Secondary range on my curve first is, of course, I believe it's 11.4 kilometers because I'm running the secondary flag and BFT and AFT. Oh, yep, here comes the first welcoming shots from the enemy team. Now, what usually happens on this map, team goes to D. Usually it's a little snipe fest until one side just gains the upper hand and ships, and then they push on through and kind of clean up whatever's left. Or you go to A and get torpedoed to death. Well, at A you get torpedoed to death or HE spin to death, depending upon if you go into the cap or you stay outside of the cap. And then if you go to B, you just get the whole shebang, HE spam, torpedoed, whatever. So, speak of the devils, there's some torpedoes coming from the B cap. And there's some torpedoes coming in from the C cap, because there are 5 destroyers on each team. So it's a bit torpedo-y. So what I'm doing here is I'm in the smoke with this Minotaur, and this Minotaur, man, me and him do some work in this game. So you can see the Des Moines is doing his best to hug his island waifu, and I'm actually looking at the mini-map and that circle on the mini-map that they added a couple of patches ago. I'm like, let's see if I can actually get at this guy. During battleships, they usually have a very straight shell arc, but I managed to freaking Citadel him. I got a Citadel and a bounce. What RNG? Or I could say it's my skill, but that was total luck. So again, there is the enemy battleships trying to push into the decap. That's an FDG. I just took some nice chunks of health out of him. And I'm still sitting in this Minotaur's smoke. I'm pretty visible, but I'm surprised that not a lot of people are shooting at me. Don't get me wrong, I am going undetected faster than I normally would because I am in the smoke. But I'm still just sitting here broadside on, and I started to push up here, but I wanted to stop pretty fast, so I give the Minotaur a little shove. Because what I was trying to do is, if there's a destroyer in the decap, I was just trying to scoot forward a little bit when I was detected, and just slam on the brakes and throw into reverse to get him to waste his salvo of torpedoes. So I did hit the Minotaur there, said sorry in chat, he was completely cool with it. Oh, there we go, there is destroyers. Yep, there's the Minotaur's torpedoes. And he is in secondary range. Obviously, I mean, God, I love the curve first secondary so much. And there are some torpedoes, unfortunately. The smoke screen of the Minotaur has ran out, so I start to move forward and get ready to dodge these torpedoes. Although, they're far enough away and they got detected early enough to where, no problem for me to dodge them. I'm still surprisingly at almost full health. That's in part thanks to the curve first armor and the fact that I haven't really gotten HE spam just yet. Barely missed the shots on that. I believe that's a gearing. Oop, that FDG is very low. There went that gearing. I believe that's gearing. I watch these clips back in Shotcut, my editing software, and Shotcut runs back at like 40p, 30 frames a second, so I can't really read the text too much. However, the gearing did manage to get another salvo of torpedoes off. Gets our friendly destroyer, whichever destroyer that was. Doesn't really matter, he's dead now. But I do manage to, thankfully, since the destroyer did die, he took the 2 torps for me. And no problem, I dodged them. So now I am pushing up into the C cap because, I mean, we need a cap. We haven't had a cap this entire game. Both teams were about the same amount of ships down. But they have the cap, we don't, so I start to push up. And the Minotaur that I was in the smoke with asked me to deal with the Des Moines because, of course, if you're in the Minotaur, the last thing you want to deal with is a Des Moines at close range. No problem, Des Moines doesn't have any torpedoes, and I'm in the curve first, got really good armor. He can AP spam me all day, won't do that much. The only real problem is if he starts HE spamming me. But I'm so close, by the time he gets enough HE on me to get a fire started, I'll be on top of him and he'll be dead. So somebody just took a shot at me from behind that island on the top of the sea cap. So I point my bow toward it because it did sting pretty bad. Felt like battleship AP, but it didn't get detected, whatever it was. Yep, there we go. Bouncing the Des Moines AP shells like nobody's business. Get my secondaries on the Des Moines. Up, he's switching over to HE. He has 1 fire started on me. Again, Des Moines doesn't have any torpedoes, so I'm not really worried about him. And I got Hydro on, so if there are some surprise torpedoes coming at me, I will have a bit of warning. And Minotaur goes ahead and takes out the Des Moines. Des Moines was focusing on me. I was doing what Battleship's supposed to do, tanking for his team, drawing the enemy teammate's attention away from my teammate to where he could get close enough. Well, not really very close, to where he could get a shot. And look at that, it is the Tier 8 American battleship, the North Carolina, hiding on top of the sea, on top of the island by sea. And there's that FDG from earlier. He is now sailing toward the boundaries of the map. I am still going full speed because a couple of the ships have finally pushed up into the sea cap, and I'm trying to get to where I can get an angle on that FDG to take him out. Because, again, if you look up at the top at the ship counter, we are both pretty dang close in terms of ships. And I'm detected, waiting for him to be spotted, waiting for him to be spotted. There we go, there's the FDG. I am showing a bit much in terms of side, but fortunately I do manage to tank it pretty good. I took some HE spam from the left to sink the FDG. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Also because I'm getting HE spam from the left, it feels like destroyer HE, so I start to turn. That and because I don't want to run to the island. And yep, there's the NorCal. So I'm trying to line up to where I can get a broadside on the NorCal. NorCal does have 16-inch guns, but they are only 45 caliber, not 50 caliber like the Iowa. So they do hurt. They don't hurt as bad as Iowa shells. And I am trying to turn to get angled as best I can for when we pop on the other side. When I pop around the side of the island, he is also angled pretty well. Give him my broadside and yeah. But oh wow, yep, that hurts. That stung pretty dang good. Up there's the Khabarovsk. Now, let me tell you why I'm turning back into the cap. One, I could have chased this NorCal. What would that do for my team? The enemy team would lose a Tier 8 battleship. But in the same time as the enemy team would have lost a Tier 8 battleship, I could have kept going in that direction, kept myself wide open for that Khabarovsk, and he could have HE spammed to death. I am at pretty low health. NorCal takes another big chunk out of me. Also, I need to get back into the cap because right now my team is at a ship disadvantage. They need me in the cap to tank for them. This North Carolina, and you'll see people do this all the time. It's kiting. They're trying to pull you away from your team to where you overextend to where their team can then focus fire on you. There's a Khabarovsk. Take some shots at him. Unfortunately, only a couple get off over the side of the island. Doesn't really do so much. So I ignore the kite of the North Carolina and go back to the Cap because I can better serve my team there. About 126,000 damage done. Pretty good so far. The game is not over yet. So we're at about a 300 points disadvantage. But if we play this right, we can still win this. So I pop my Hydro on again because there are 2 destroyers left in the enemy team, and that Khabarovsk was just in the B cap. And we need to keep them spotted. And since, of course, I am in a battleship, I do have a range to still take some shots at that North Carolina. He's showing me his broadside there. I mean, German dispersion, but gotta try. He goes undetected, and fortunately I just get a bunch of overpins. There was a cruiser there, very low health. And there's also, I believe it's the lightning that's in the smoke. Pop my heal again, going through the heals like nobody's business. Up there's the lightning. My Hydra is still up, so I will detect any torpedoes that he launches at me. I try to get some shots off on him. He just gets behind the island before the shots can connect. Get some more friendly torpedoes from the Minotaur, I believe. So here's the situation now. There's 2 destroyers and a low health cruiser on the other side of this island. I'm the only battleship that's really in position to do anything about that right now. My cruisers are at pretty low health, and we don't have any destroyers left. So spotting is going to be up to the cruisers, or it's going to be pretty minimal. So that cruiser is almost dead. I just go ahead and take some shots at him, just get him out the way. You want to get the enemy ships out of the fight as fast as possible. You can call it kill stealing, kill securing, whatever you want. When your team is this far behind on points and caps, you just need those points. So you need to get them out as fast as possible because you never know what's going to happen next. So if you guys saw that the Montana was spotted just briefly, and I had a really good shot at his broadside. Now, while the Kurfürst doesn't have Yamato deletion power, if you catch a broadside battleship, it's going to hurt him pretty dang good. And there's my friend in the Khabarovsk. I asked my teammates to focus fire on him because with German dispersion, I'm not going to get any hits on him with my main battery guns, and he's outside my secondaries. Well, he's inside my secondary range right now, but he'll shortly be out. Yep, there's that Montana. I take some shots with it with my back turrets. Try to pay attention to the Khabarovsk again. Pop off another hill. Get a pin and a bounce on the Montana. Or is that 2 pins? I think it's 2 pins. So Khabarovsk very fast, very annoying. Well, I thought the Khabarovsk was annoying, but then the Harugamo came around, and that's a real annoying HE spammer. Now we have 3 ships. I mean, we have 5 ships to their 3 ships. We now have the ship advantage. There went my friend of the Minotaur. Still 4 ships to 3 ships. Still have the ship advantage. And I'm currently being smacked in the face by the Khabarovsk. However, our Henry is trying to do what he can to deal with him. So now I'm just like, well, I gotta do something. So I'm pushing into the B cap to find that Montana and deal with him. I can bow tank his shots, and his secondaries aren't really that powerful, so I can still deal with it. There's that North Carolina. Take an opening shot at him. There is the Montana. Ooh, he gets me. So now I'm like, oh crap, it's 3 ships to 3, but they have a destroyer. They have a destroyer and 2 battleships left, and we have 2 cruisers and a battleship. I'm like, well, what the hell's the other battleship? It's a full health Musashi. Full health Musashi. All the way back here by himself. So I'm like, okay, I mean, where were you the rest of the game? But fine, whatever. He's still alive. And he's broadside to this Montana. I'm like, oh, that's kind of dumb being broadside to this Montana. And whoop, there goes that Montana's health. So, oh, okay, well, now all he has to do is bow tank, and we got this. Guys, guess what he doesn't do? Yup, he doesn't bow tank. Now, yes, Musashi / Yamato have the biggest guns in the game. However, their broadside is very, very frail. And the Musashi even more so because it sits a bit higher in the water than the Yamato. So its broadside is very, very visible, shall we say. And the Montana, don't get me wrong, has 16-inch guns, but it has a lot of 16-inch guns, and they're very accurate, and he got off lucky there. Whew. So now we have a Musashi all the way up here playing with the Montana, and we have a Henry trying to deal with the Cavalross down south. Yeah, our team is very, very split up. Now, don't get me wrong, he did just sink the Montana, so good on him. But he's not grouped with the rest of the team, and he still has most of his health. But he's at the back sniping and didn't move up. So he's fulfilling part of his role as a battleship, but he's not fulfilling the tanking part. Don't get me wrong, he did get smacked by the Montana, but he's not down south tanking with his cruisers. He's not playing with his team, and look at our cruisers. We have an almost dead, I believe that was a Hipper or a Prince Oregon, and an almost dead, yup, an almost dead San Luis. That wasn't a Henry. And yep, that's San Luis. When he started that fight with that Cavalross, he had over half his health, but now he doesn't. So now we have, I'm sorry, it's a Rune, not a Prince Oregon. An almost dead Rune. All they gotta do is kill 2 ships. That's all they gotta do. But when you have an almost dead Rune against an almost dead North Carolina, guess which one of them is going to win in this fight. Man, he got some good hits in there with his AP, but nope. So now we come back to the Musashi, who's so far away from the fight, there's no way he can possibly get back into cap or contest or get within range of any of their ships fast enough. So yep, that's what happens when you don't move with your team, stay with your team, fulfill your role as a battleship. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're going to snipe on a battleship, it should probably be Yamato. Musashi, it has less Sigma, but okay, you can still snipe in it. But guys, you gotta move up when you get down to like 4 or 5 ships left. You have to move up and start tanking. I know, you know, like I said, the Musashi and Yamato have really brittle size, but when your ships, when you get that low on ships, you need someone to start tanking. So, yep, end of the game. Surprisingly, I guess who was on the top of the scoreboard? Come on past me. Yeah, there's Musashi right above me in the curve first. That is, of course, because he did delete half of that Montana. Oh, well over half of that Montana's health. But, yeah, so the story of this video, the moral of this video is don't be that guy that just sits in the back and snipes all the time and never moves up and loses the game for your team. Because if he would have moved up, tanked for our cruisers, we probably could have pulled a win out of that. But that was a pretty good game. It was actually a really close game. And so, I'm not too upset with that, just I really wish that guy would have moved up. So if you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends, because we are on our way to 600 subscribers. Again, I thank all of you for watching. Hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.